And that's another way to restart. So restart, reset. Well, because sometimes and the reason I used restart is that's what kind of channeled in. So thank you, Monica, as well for reset. But sometimes we feel like we can't restart life and we can't reset. So what was channeling in was restart, and kind of goes along with what you were saying. Sometimes we don't believe and we live in the non-belief of trying to believe, but we can not just reset, we can actually restart. We can start with a blank slate and manifest. Like Garen was saying, just see it, believe it, keep doing it. And our next speaker is actually, that's one of the things he works with, is spiritual alchemy. Oh, it was mine. It's mine saying, yep, time to restart. Play the music, dance around, and restart, right? It was the timer from earlier. But, our next speaker, that's what he talks about. He talks about restarting your story, resetting yourself, and changing your story with alchemy. And Jeremy E Mcdonald is now known as the storytelling alchemist. He's a beautiful, amazing friend. I'm honored to have met him through another friend of ours and have him speak last year as well on the cruise and come back this year. He was kind of part of the inception of Waves of Light, had to take a different path, but we love him so much and we're glad that he's here. And I just accidentally touched your screen up here. So he's an accomplished spiritual healer and teacher. He's been a public speaker for over 22 years, designed and delivered many workshops to assist individuals in helping them find peace in their lives. Everyone's got titles. This guy's got a lot. He's a Reiki master. He has served as keynote speakers for expos, for colleges, professional conferences, small workshops in living rooms across the country. But at the end of the day, he's just somebody who has an amazing heart, an amazing soul, and a beautiful energy, who he really has gone within to learn how to change his story, to share with others how to change theirs. So as we have him here, he does community healings, awareness, and raising overall frequency of the planet are his goals. So as we have him here, let's raise our frequencies together and learn how to change our storytelling through alchemy. So Jeremy E. Mcdonald, if you would please, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Jess. Okay, I was making sure I'm on. Good morning, everybody. Wow. That was bad. Good morning, everybody. All right, cool. I'm a corporate trainer during the day, and I'm Spider-Man at night, just so you guys know. Bad joke. Justin always says I have dad jokes. I did tell you to look that up on Urban Dictionary to figure out what that was, actually, to be honest with you, but it just means I tell a lot of corny jokes. So this presentation and what I'm going to be talking about is kind of 10 years of work that I've been working on. And it started out, well, a little over 10 years. It started out when I was in meditation, and it was during the last recession. So everybody remember the last recession? A lot of us lost our jobs. We lost everything, a lot of our money, all that good stuff. And I had been a chief operating officer of a mortgage company. And so you can imagine what happened with my job. Mortgage company collapsed and everything. So I'm sitting there on my couch feeling sorry for myself. I'm 32 years old, and I had to move back to my mother's house. And, just a whole bunch of things that was bruising my ego, right? And so I'm sitting there having this meditation, and Jesus comes up and stands behind me, and I thought to myself at first, I'm like, what is this presence? And then I realized who it was, and I said, why are you here? I don't even like you. And the reason why I said that is because of my lifestyle that I live. I've always felt, because I was raised Christian, I had studied every other religion and thought, I'm going to leave Christianity because for some reason I'm a sinner based on my lifestyle. So I had left. And his response wasn't in anger. His response was, I'm here to teach you how to love yourself, because when you learn how to love yourself, you'll learn to love me. And I thought that was extremely powerful for me. Then he started showing me some of the things that Garen was talking about with the law of attraction and stuff like that, because I had watched The Secret, and that wasn't super helpful, by the way. So he showed me I want you, when you go in and apply for jobs, is I want you to see yourself as a prince of the universe. And he goes, when you walk in, imagine when you walk in, the next time you guys walk in these doors, I want you to say in your mind, I am a prince or princess of the universe, and now entering the royal family of the universe. And I want you to feel that energy and feel that presence, because that's changing your story and the alchemy that's going on and changing you from those lead thoughts into that golden state of mind. So, fast forward. My friend Vicky that runs the Metaphysical Society in Sun City begged me to start talking about alchemy a few years ago, so I did. And I said, sorry, I'm walking out of the camera. So then I said, well, I'm not an expert on this. She goes, I guess I can't cut. Well, I guess she says, BS. She said, you've been doing this for 10 years. Please do it. So that's the beginnings of some of the presentations I've been doing over the past several years. So the first question I'm going to ask you when we're thinking about alchemy is, what is your level of attachment? What is it you are attached to that you cannot let go of? So we were talking about the I am presence. If you want to be fully submerged into that I am presence, all of us have some kind of attachment that prevents us from being fully immersed into that presence. And we've all had those moments when we are fully immersed into that presence. So, and then the answer to the question is, what does attachment do? It binds us, right? It binds us to that limited thought that we cannot have, or that this is the only way of doing things. And what I would like to invite you guys to be forward is I would like to invite you to be what is called the Greek skeptic. What is the Greek skeptic? The Greek skeptic is one that questions everything, but never says that this is the only way of doing things. Once you say that this is the only way of doing things, then it becomes a dogma. Who did I learn that from? I learned that from being the student of Raymond Moody. And he was, of course, has his PhD in philosophy. And I said to him, because my mother had transitioned a few years prior when I met him, and he said to me that, you know, Jeremy, through the 40 some odd years of research, he goes, I can say that there's a very strong possibility that your mother talks to you. Now, of course, my 15 years of experience with mediumship, I was like, what is he saying? She is in spirit talking to me. What he was trying to get at is he was saying that if you open your mind up, and as soon as you say, this is it, then you close your mind to the potential that there's more. Does that make sense? And so, yes, there is truly mediumship, as we saw demonstrated last night with Joseph and his very, very, very amazing ability that he has honed in on in his lifetime. But what if there's more beyond that? And we want to open our minds up to that expanded consciousness, even beyond that, because we are ever growing as souls and as beings. And so we want to constantly question. And so that's just kind of the idea of attachment, is that it doesn't mean you don't love people. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy things. It doesn't mean you don't believe in things. It means you continue to question so you can even go beyond that understanding. And so the next thing to talk about is detachment. So opens us up to the unlimited potential. There is unlimited potential of experience within this universe. And as a result of being those experiences, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you are a server, as a waiter at a restaurant, or you're a flight attendant, or you're a public speaker. It doesn't matter. Through everything you do, there is profound experiences. It just depends on your perspective and how you see it. And so I think that's pretty incredible. And so what does detachment do? It frees us from attached relationships. It frees us of the material world, dogmatic ideas, money. Is there anything wrong with money? Absolutely not. But it's our attachment that says we can't do things without that. As proof of that, this young man here has manifested a Mercedes into his life. If he would have said, I don't have enough money, might he have done that? No, probably not. Other people's values, and where do we get all these attachments? We get these values from other people, right? From our ministers, our teachers, our parents. And what is it the Toltec shamans say? That we do the best we can with what we have. Our parents gave us the best they could with the information that they had. So it's not to blame, it's for us to decide what is our own. I think that's the choice we have, is that we have the choice to decide who is it I'm going to be and what is it I'm going to believe. In loving the people that are around us, so that we can say, I love you, and that's so amazing that you have those values and that understanding about life. However, this is who I am, and love me for who I am, and have that detachment and have that understanding. So I'm a big fan of Alex Gray, and this is one of his pieces, and this is what is called Cosmic Christ. And as you can see, he's interconnected, and he's very expanded into an understanding. And if you ever really have some powerful experiences, find this on the internet and stare right into these eyes, and you'll feel shifts. That's what Alex Gray's paintings are all about, is helping you have shifts in your consciousness. And you can see even down in the heart chakra, what does he have? What? The world. He has the world in his heart. So he feels that. Instead of being in judgment, he feels the compassion for the world, and that's what Jesus was about, right? Love thy neighbor. So I'd like everybody to stand up really quick, and I'd like everybody to just kind of take a deep breath in. Stand with your legs about shoulder length. Bend your knees a little bit. This is what the Qigong masters call Wuji. And so I want you to take a deep breath in. Breathe all that breath down into your toes. And while you're doing that, breathing and exhaling out, just take a deep breath out. Just let it all out. Because breathing in, bringing on all that good bliss and all that good stuff that you want to have. And then you exhale out all the stuff that you don't necessarily want. So then I want you to feel that energy of what? The cosmos, our source, flowing down into your consciousness or your head, your crown chakra. And it's flowing down and it's connecting into your heart. And then you're feeling the energy of the earth coming up through your feet, and both energies connecting in the heart. So when you feel that, when they merge together, then I want you to say, balance. And you feel it exploding, both energies exploding out of your heart, expanding to everything, all of consciousness. And so while you're in that space, I'm sure you guys can feel this energy. I want you to pretend there's a dial on your forehead, and I want you to turn that dial, because what you're doing now is you're turning up the frequency or the vibration of your body, and we're gonna raise the frequency in this room, and turn it, raise it, build it. We're expanding and raising the frequency in this room. We're setting the intention for the rest of the day that everything is gonna flow perfectly. Everything is going to happen exactly the way it should. And then while you're there, we get it up, we build it up. Then I want you to say, in your heart, I let go of what is not of my divine plan, and I call back in everything that is of my divine plan. So now you're released and you're fully submerged into all of consciousness. So what this is that every time you guys are out in public and somebody ticks you off, upsets you, you get frazzled, whatever, you can remember this feeling, and you say, in your mind, connect, ground, and balance. And all you're going to do is, I call this standing in the hand of God. Because you guys can feel that energy wanting to flow back and forth, and you kind of want to rock back and forth, right? You feel that? That means you can't fall, because God or spirit or energy or cosmos will always catch you. There's always energy to catch you. It doesn't matter what you can do. You can jump off the side of, don't do this, by the way. You can jump off the side of a mountain and you're going to be taken care of. Meaning you can take that risk to step forward and do what it is that you want to do and not be attached. You can be detached and be submerged. So you guys can all sit down. Thank you so much for playing energy with me for a second. So what is alchemy? Alchemy is the transmutation, changing in action and in character from the mortal into the spiritual. It has been said that the mind is crucible in which the ideal is transmuted into the real. Thank you, Charles Fillmore, for that very powerful quote. Alchemy is the ancient art at the heart, which lies the manufacture of mysterious substance called the Philosopher's Stone, the highly desirable legendary object that is said to transform base metals such as lead into gold. And gold, in this instance, symbolizes not the valuable metal, but the enlightenment and eternal life. We've been searching for the Philosopher's Stone. Do you guys know who the Philosopher's Stone is or what the Philosopher's Stone is? You. So Garen mentioned that about the body. The body is the Philosopher's Stone. You are the Stargate. You are everything. Morgan talked about the when a man enters a woman, the woman is the Stargate into this world. Does that make sense? She was the conduit for you to come into this world. Thank you. Bless your mother because she brought you into this amazing experience. So interesting enough, they call this Christians, the Pentecostals talk about a quickening. One of my good friends was a Pentecostal evangelist, and because he came out as gay, he was excommunicated from the church. But what he picked up and what he taught from me is they do this thing where they go into this quickening and they start speaking through tongues. And he spoke at me and Monica's conference called the Infinite Oneness in 2014. And he's super powerful. And I saw these Wiccan women standing up and praising Jesus. It was so powerful, how amazing he is, because he emanates energy so powerfully. And what he does is when he gets into that state, he actually starts speaking in tongues. Why? Because spirit and energy is slaying you so powerfully that you just lose control and you're now submerged. And so what it says in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18, it says, "For Christ also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickening in spirit." So what are you doing? You're changing and transmuting from the flesh into spirit, from lead into what? Gold. The golden state of mind is talked about in many cultures and beliefs. It's not just Christianity. That's where Christianity got it from, as other cultures, right? And so the Mayans talk about it. They talk about the golden state of mind. The Freemasons, you see the G on their belt or their sash that they wear. What is that? The Freemasons, and I know there's conspiracies about them, but not all Freemasons are bad, and where it came from is not bad. So, and so that G stands for the golden state of mind. The Gnostics talk about the golden state of mind. The Egyptians talk about the golden state of mind. This is not a new thing. Da Vinci's Perfect Man, you guys see this? Pay attention to the opening. He's standing here like this with his heart open. His legs are pulled. And that's why we were asked to put our feet down today and be open and have our energy system open and not closed. So some of the things we can do to let go and be detached is forgiveness. Luke 23, verse 34, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." What did he do in this moment? He said, forgive them. Remember, his arms were where? Just like the perfect man, his arms were open and his heart chakra was open. And he was looking up, right? So he was looking up into the higher realms to go upwards. That's what the symbolism is all about. And that's what happens. That's why these ancient mysteries, we cannot read text by the literal word. The literal word will take us to death, meaning we will live in misery and hell. But if we open up into the spirit, it will tell us the profoundness of these mysteries. And so what is to crucify? It means to add or increase by 1,000-fold. So when he was crucified, he opens himself up and he opens up 1,000-fold. And interesting enough, you guys notice this picture? This is the god Mot, or goddess Mot. Doesn't it kind of look like the Milky Way galaxy a little bit? Just a little bit, the heart here and the energy of light, because you are pure light. The universe and the galaxy actually sits within you. And that's why you are a prince and princess. You are a king and queen of the universe. You are an emperor and empress of the universe. And so what we think is we are the raisin in the galaxy. You are not the raisin in the galaxy. You are so profound and you are so amazing and who you are, and we think of ourselves as insignificant. So as above, so below. Hermes Trismegistus says this. I dare you to say this 3 times really fast, like Rubber Baby Bubby Bunker. It took me about 2 years to say his name correctly. So that which is above is like unto that which is below, and which is below is like unto that which is above. Noticing some similarities in these pictures? This is the macrocosm and the microcosm. So further references, this is Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Let us make man in our image according to our likeness. The Jewish patriarchs thought that the human body was the microcosm or the little cosmos made in the image of macrocosm. So you are the universe and the galaxy. Pythagoras saw the cosmos and the body as a harmonious unity. So as we flow together, as we build this energy, what are we creating? Harmony. We're creating golden states of mind as we sit in other people's presence. Have you ever had a friend that's really upset, they're crying, and then if you just go sit next to them, you don't even have to hug them. You just sit next to them and breathe in your body for them, you will calm them down. The energy will calm them down. I'm hoping Michael talks about this when he talks about NLP, if he's talking about NLP in his presentation, because that is called body mirroring. And people, I know they talk about that in NLP, mirroring. And so you can actually, if you have patience and presence and peace, you'll emanate that. You'll create harmony with another person. So 12, we're going to talk about 12, and I want you to pay close attention to these pictures. This is more artwork of Alex Gray. Sorry, not in the camera. So more artwork of Alex Gray. If you see the progression of the soul, starts here. There's a lot more to these paintings. I just put 3 of them up here. As you notice, the energy is changing, and this is what is called the universal lattice mind. You notice here, there is this cylinder of light, which is one being or soul, but there's more beyond that. Everybody see that? That's oneness. So people get all torn up about oneness, and we talk about it in spirituality, but I want you to understand that the actual distance between you and I there is no distance. We're all interconnected by light and frequency. That's why distance healing, we all understand that distance healing can be done just as much as if I lay you on the table and put my hands on you, you're going to feel the energy, and I can put you, literally point energy at you like this, and you can feel it. Because we're all connected anyways. It's all frequency. There is no distance between us. When we leave here today and we go to our other states, we're all still connected. But 12 is consistent in spirituality. It's the 12 patriarchs, the testament of the 12 patriarchs, the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 foundations of Jerusalem, the 12 gates of Jerusalem. 12 is pretty substantial. 12 thrones. Jesus prophesied the 12 thrones with Jesus to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel was Jacob until he declared him as Israel. There's several beings or people in history where their name got changed as a result of what? Their transition or their transmutation from their mind from lead into gold. This happened because he overcome his struggles in life. So Israel stands for he that striveth with God. I thought that was pretty interesting. What I find even more interesting is this image right here. So is, or Ice, for the divine feminine, Isis, Ra, El, or life force energy, Michael, Gabriel, all the archangels, Elohim, all that stuff. And then Ra, the father spirit, or pattern male. So you have the left and right hemispheres of the brain. The left is the divine masculine, the right is the divine feminine, to bring it down into a physical level. Now, it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff where the Bible and all spiritual texts is about the alchemy of the body, mind, and soul. So, and if we read it literally, though, there's a lot of texts that we use to condemn women, to condemn other groups of people, and it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the divine feminine and divine masculine. So we could go into a very long conversation about that, but we only have 45 minutes. So, all right, so Jessica, if you could hand this out, that would be great. There is a flyer that she's going to be handing to you, and on the back of it is an image of the 12 mind powers of man. This is an amazing book by Charles Fillmore. Interesting enough about Charles Fillmore is him and Myrtle Fillmore are the founder of the Unity movement. I'm sure most of you know that. I don't know if you knew this. They were very sick before they started the Unity movement. Both of them. Myrtle wasn't expected to live for another 6 months. And through her process of using this and the healing work that they learned about or they used, she lived another 40 years. So they determined that she was going to die in 6 months. She lived another 40 years. So the 12 mind powers of man that he talks about in his book breaks this down into these mind powers, and these are where they are placed at in the body, or what he determined that they were placed at in the body. So they have faith, which is equated to Peter as one of the 12 apostles, strength, Andrew, love, John, power, Philip, imagination, Bartholomew, understanding, Thomas, will, Matthew, order is James, and zeal is Simon, elimination is Thaddeus, and life Judas, and wisdom is James. So interesting enough about this is that these images within your body, or these places in your body, remember, all spiritual text was written in a code so that other people that didn't understand wouldn't know what they were talking about. So I don't care if these 12 men lived or not. What I do know is that there are metaphors and symbolism to what is going on within you. So I'm just going to read these, and I just want everybody to close their eyes just really quick, and I want you to feel them as I say these different parts of your body. So I'm going to say divine will, divine faith, divine understanding, divine imagination, divine zeal, divine power. Feel that in your throat chakra. Feel that opening up. Divine love. Feel that in your heart. Feel that opening up. Divine wisdom. Divine strength. Feel that in the lower part of your back. Divine order. Divine elimination. And divine life. Just feel that just for a second. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. May you feel those energies in the body? Okay. Because what ends up happening is these 12 mind powers, they actually, as we go through experience with life, we just live, right, in the now of the moment. We go through these experiences. So there might be something that makes you feel powerless, and guess what? Then your throat chakra closes up, or this area closes up. And then as you go through the experience and you set boundaries or speak out for yourself, then what ends up happening, it starts to open up, and that is a power within you that emanates frequency, right? And as they come together, it starts to open you up. So interesting enough, Charles Fillmore also said, when we activate our flesh bodies through the gradual refinement, not by miracle, but by divine intervention from the flesh into spirit. And then interesting enough, when I put this image here from the book Power versus Force, and it's showing you the frequency of where we're at. So has anybody ever gone through a place in their life where they lost everything, or they just something major happened and you're complete grief or a sadness and all that kind of stuff? Well, we're very open and awake people. Guess what? Something major could happen to you in 2 weeks. Knock on wood, to not have that happen. But something major can happen in 2 weeks. And it could throw you. You could be way up here in love or reason and joy, and it'll throw you down here into guilt and apathy or grief or whatever. We're experiential beings, and that's okay for us to go through this. But what happens is your frequency will drop. My friend Penny is a past life therapist and does life between life therapy, and she lost her 22-year-old son. He passed away because he'd gone out drinking with his friends, and he came home and he had a bad back and he took his pain medication and never woke up. So just because she understands what we understand, did she not? She could still grieve, and to this day she misses her son. So that is the energy that when we go through these experiences in life, what ends up happening? We go up and down the scale, and that's fine, because as we go down and we come back up, we get stronger, right? So everybody ever went to the gym and worked out? And your muscles feel like, man, why did I do that? So, what was I thinking? Well, your muscles get torn and then they get stronger, right? The same thing happens in your spiritual life. Your energy of your emotions and who you are gets torn, and then as you build it back up, you get stronger in who you are. And that's what's so amazing about your life and who you are. So I'm going to go on here and just read this first paragraph. It says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And so what Jesus is saying is, I'm laying the footsteps down for you to walk in frequency. He didn't say bow down and fall at my feet. He meant follow me because I've got the lily pads of vibration. If you follow this path that gets narrow, what Matthew 7 talks about, what he's meaning is that I'll show you the way to happiness, to that golden state of mind. Does everybody know that we're actually electrical? Okay, we have what are called electrons in our body, right? So through our mental energy or the dynamic power of the mind, a man can release the life of electrons secreted in the atoms that compose the cells of the body. Buddhist monks talk about when they actually achieve enlightenment or nirvana, they'll feel a pulse of electrical energy go through their body. Has anybody ever experienced that before? It's powerful, man. It'll knock your socks off. It's great. They say that St. Francis of Assisi would go into the forest and he'd start to meditate and they'd see light emanating from the forest. That's some pretty cool stuff. I don't know if I've gotten there yet. I want to light up a forest. Well, I will light up a forest. So there we go. We change our words, right? Activating ourselves through our life and practice. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Talks about the pineal gland in the Bible. This is not something new, or we've all heard and talked about this before. I want you guys to say this affirmation with me. I have faith that I am now in tune with the upward, progressive movement of life. The mark of success is upon me. It's powerful. You feel that energy? This means you're declaring, you are saying to the universe, this is who I am. Success is upon me. I love Catherine Ponder. She wrote a book called The Dynamic Laws of Healing. Well, she wrote several books, but that's one of my favorites. Definitely check it out. So that energy comes out, and you just have to start declaring who you are. That's the interesting part about that, and that starts getting the movement of energy and frequency to come through us. So illumination, how does this work? This image right here shows, first of all, let's talk about Manly P. Hall, and he says the pineal gland and the pituitary gland are the copper and zinc poles of the electrical, which has the entire body as a battery. And you'll see here, we always talk about the pineal gland, but it's a little more than that. If you look at this, the pineal gland is the male yang or solar, and that's in this area. And the pituitary gland is the female yin or lunar, and then the thalamus is right in this area. So what ends up happening is the energy, when you have that electrical pulse, actually flows up the Kundalini, the River Jordan, or the Nile River, and it hits this energy, and then it secretes what is called Christos. So the ancients called the thalamus the light or the eye of the chamber. So that it opens up, and then this light emanates from you, and that's why the masters, they paint them with this light emanating around them. Have you ever seen a friend of yours and their aura is just lit up? It's so big. Oh yeah, definitely. so that's illumination, and we all have it actually. So the interesting part about this, I want to throw this out there to you. There's a book out there called "Busting Loose from the Money Game." And it's a really cool book. And it's actually, the guy's not spiritual at all. But, well, he is, but he just doesn't realize it. And so what he said is that judgment is the glue that holds the illusion together. What does he mean by that? As we point at other people and look at other people and say, they have what I don't have, as you were discussing earlier, you hold this illusion of, I'm not good enough in your life. I'm not valuable enough. And so it's interesting enough that we do that, and we actually box ourselves into this limited idea. That's the attachment of the diminishing part of ourselves. And so we start to say, we were talking about, I am that, I am. So we see somebody that's very illuminated, we say, I am that, I am. And then we start to feel that. Was everybody impressed with Garen this morning? Everybody like that? All right, I want you to just look at this young man and say, I am that I am. Just say it really quick. Sorry to put you on the spot. Everybody feel it? Now feel the flow of energy coming back and forth. I am that I am. Everybody like Joseph last night? Everybody good? Let's look at Joseph and let's say that I am that I am. Not to put them on the spot. What I want you to do is to feel is the energy flowing back and forth. Do you guys feel that? But when you say that I am not, then that's like you pushing your hands against the wall. And what are you doing? You're trying to hold up this wall. Everybody put your hands up. Feel that. Okay, strain. Now I want you to invite it in. I am that. I am. It's difference. That's the judgment that holds the illusion together. Faith. What activates or illuminates the area of the pineal gland is faith. In 2012, Justin and I quit my job, put everything in a storage locker, and went on a 22-state tour around the country. And I said to Justin, he's like, well, we got any places for you to do a book signing set? And I was like, not yet, we'll figure it out. And somehow people just saw us on social media and said, would you come and do a workshop out of my house? And I'll come, and that people would buy books and all that other kind of stuff. People invited us to their house. I spoke in the Navajo reservation at the first annual Healers Gathering in the Sahotso Hospital, or a hospital in the Navajo reservation. It was amazing. And so what it took, what? Faith. You have to have faith. So Egypt is that dark lower part of the body below the solar plexus, because the children of Israel, remember Israel, that illuminated energy, they were delivered from what? Egypt. Darkness, yeah. So the sun, or S-U-N, or sun, is the solar plexus, is the place of the sun, or the house of bread. Bethlehem stands for the house of bread. Joshua, the son of Nun, Nun equals fish. Joshua means God of salvation. Interesting part about that is that salvation, first three letters is S-A-L, first three letters of salt is S-A-L, and saliva is S-A-L. Salt saves, and the body has, this is kind of cool, 12 inorganic salts within the body. This is from a book called God-Man, the Word Made Flesh. You can get it for free online. So really powerful stuff in it. And what ends up happening, Jacob had 12 sons, or 12 mind powers. The ladder in the Kundalini is activated through the overcoming of 12 sons, lessons. Jesus was the 13th. I wish they'd start putting 13 floors back in hotels, because it doesn't mean bad luck. It means completion. Okay? 13, it's interesting enough, I was just throwing this out there. 1 plus 3 equals 4, which is the 4 corners, and 4 seasons or balance, and we are in 2020 is a 4, because 2020 is 4. Okay? So we are in the year of balance. We are in the year of change. We are in the year when waves of light will start flowing out and emanating the universe. We are in the year of change, and you're going to see a lot of incredible things that are going to scare you and make you excited this year. So it's going to be an awesome year. You ready for the roller coaster? I love roller coasters, so it's going to be a good one. Every religion has a sacred river in it. Christians have the river Jordan, Egypt has Nile, and the Hindus have the Ganges River. There's the Amazon and all this other kind of stuff. So it's in all these texts. Christ didn't come from Christianity. They talked about it in the Mayan religion. And remember, again, the crucifixion means to amplify it 1,000-fold. The crossing out in consciousness of the errors that have become fixed states of mind, the dogmas, the surrender of or death of the whole personality in order that the Christ mind may be all expressed in its fullness through you. In sacrificing the old to let the new come in, Christ is an ointment or smear, or in the Egyptians they called it a sap. The awakening and the regeneration of the subconscious mind to the superconsciousness or Christ or Buddha consciousness. This is not new. This is ancient. It's been around since the beginning of time. Dr. Joseph Dispenza talks about this in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And he says the brain processes 400 billion bits of information a second, but we are only aware of 2,000 of those. In this room is 400 billion bits of information happening We are only perceiving 2,000. As we pull back the veil, we become more in tune with more of those bits of information. So as you go into that golden state of mind, you become more cosmically aware of everything that's going on within your consciousness or that's going on around you. And that's why we're here, right? Awakening is the new strength is flowing freely to every part of my being. This is another affirmation. Say this with me. New strength is flowing freely to every part of my being now. I am renewed in spirit, soul, and body. Feel that emanating? You are declaring that you were renewed, that you're regenerated, that you are now alchemizing your body and your mind and spirit from lead to gold. Manly P. Hall says, we must first understand that all sacred writings are supposed to be sealed with 7 seals. 7 trumpets sound. This is in the book of Revelations. Everybody's scared of the time of the end. Revelation is about the quickening of the soul and the death of the old and bringing into the new. The tarot has the death card. It is not just about losing somebody. It's about the ending of the old and bringing in the new. Transmutation, yes. And so these are the things that we all know, but we also forget. Okay? It's profound. So every interesting experience that happened, if you go out this week and you lose your job, not that I'm putting out that for you, or something happens, you go, I want you to imagine this. It's Christmas morning. Some transition happens and you're not expecting. It's Christmas morning and you're about 6 years old and you're walking out there and you're like, what did Santa leave for me today? And so you get that energy of excitement you had as a kid, and you'd be like, and you lose your job, and then the next one is even better. That or better. That's what I want you to say to yourself. That or better. You see some, for those of you that are single, you see somebody and you're like, oh, wow, that one, oh, shoo. I want you to say, universe, that or better. Why are you saying that? Because we get fixated on, oh, that's the only one. Oh, my goodness. Remember this movie? Someday my prince will come. Remember this? Snow is like Cinderella. It's Cinderella. Oh, yeah, it is Phantom of the Opera. Yes. Sorry. I'm a terrible gay man. Not getting my show tunes right now. So what you're doing then is you're saying to the universe that I'm fixated on this, but I know you know better than me, because the super consciousness knows more than our micro consciousness. So as we go up the ladder, the descent into the depths always seems to precede the ascent. So we go down, and then we do what? We go up. Carl Jung, he was on YouTube. If you want to have a great day, there is lectures of Carl Jung. And I would imagine, if you're driving to work, instead of jamming out to Lady Gaga, I want you to turn on Carl Jung on YouTube. There's tons of stuff. Manly P. Hall has a bunch of lectures on there, everything. And just because we can download all this energy, my story about Jesus, what he did is he said to me, I want you to go Google search this. I want you to go do this. And exactly how I was feeling and seeing is what was popping up on Google. And so he would just say, put in faith. And then what I was seeing and feeling, and what was that confirmation of what I was getting downloaded from Spirit? He was showing me that you're connected. So love and accept all of you. So this is the ladder. This is the frequency. So up here, God consciousness at 1,000 hertz. That's up from that book, Power versus Force. And so I think I have about 4 minutes. I turned a 2-hour lecture into a 45-minute lecture. I'm very impressed with myself. Are there any questions? Yes. I first of all learned about it, and I was like, oh, can we do this? So, and then I just started imagining opening up the lower chakra, the root chakra, and then as you kept on opening that up, and then I had felt a little bit come of this electrical course coming up, and then I was like, wait, I'm now limiting myself to this root chakra, and then I started just getting relaxed, and then I've actually experienced that energy just shooting up the spine and hitting like right in the middle of the brain, and then you have this like feeling of bliss. It's better than any drugs you'll ever do. Any weed, any drinking, whatever. This is the drug. So if that makes any sense to you. It is true ecstasy, yes. Yes, absolutely. Any other questions? I wore everybody out. Yeah, yeah.
A question is forming in my mind.
Yeah.
So, is it on? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
for sharing your wonderful wisdom. So the notes, the note that I just took, I just want to make sure that I understand it correctly. Excuse me for taking my glasses off, because you're blurred with my glasses off, but this is focused with my glasses on. So so we transmute lead into gold when I imagine that as my reality. I mean, is that a true statement, or am I misunderstanding what you're saying, or doesn't it matter? Are both true?
I think both are true.
Okay.
Because what is your truth? You know, we can get that if we get caught up into what is true or not true, we get caught into an idea.
Yeah,
of dogma.
no, and I don't want to get lost in that
Yeah,
either.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I would say that that's very powerful for yourself, and that would be a very powerful statement. So imagining yourself in that would
Awesome.
create amazing experiences for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it needs to be on the recording.
I kind of perceive that turning lead to gold as turning dark to light.
Yeah.
So
Darkness
that-
into light.
Right.
And it's that polarity. There is a universal law or natural law called the law of polarity, right? So we experience and we are all those things. And so when we understand that, then we illuminate ourselves into this wholeness. And we're not just saying I'm light or dark, but when we illuminate ourselves, that we can talk to Vicky about this all day long, our friend Vicky,
Right.
about
Vicky.
the science behind it. But it's yeah, absolutely. You're in the right perception. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
So it also includes the change from the sensing thinking mind into the knowing mind. So as you said, the Buddha consciousness, the enlightenment, it's just the realization of self as,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Or Maslow says self-actualization, right? Okay, so it's my time is up, but I wanted to share with you that this is my flyer. You can take this home and obviously use this as a practice. If you sign up for my newsletter, I give you a 78-minute downloadable CD for free. So just kind of share that with you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
So, everybody still feeling good this morning? Feeling great? Because we're getting ready to go into the afternoon here shortly in a bit. But as we are getting ready, we have a quick break before we start with Jason.